So I was reading the Daily Unreliable the other day, and I came across this claim, the claim that girls are better than boys at describing things. And I knew I had you guys today, so I thought I'd do a little experiment in class and test out this hypothesis or this idea. So what I need for everyone to look at the board and think of one of the dots, and choose a dot that you think it would be hardest to describe the position of to someone else. And first we're going to do girls, so I need 2 girl volunteers. Okay. Yep. Katie and Georgia. Okay, so Katie, can you please come up to the board, and I need you to face the board. And Georgia, I need you to just be looking from behind. Now, Katie, when I say go, you are going to describe the point that you're thinking of, the dot that you're thinking of, and you're not allowed to point. In fact, put your hands in your pockets if you have pockets. So Katie, you do that. And Georgia, what I want you to do is you're not allowed to say anything except for stop. And you're only allowed to say stop when you think you know, when you're completely sure of which dot Katie is looking at. Do you guys have any questions? Do you understand the task? Okay, ready, set, go. Time it, see how long they take. Okay, so thanks Katie and Georgia. So that was our first attempt. Now I need 2 male volunteers because we're going to test whether it is true that girls are better than boys at describing things. So yep, Mohammed and Harry. Okay, great. So Mohammed, can you come up to the board and you're going to do what Katie just did. So hands in your pockets, no pointing, and you're going to describe to Harry which point you're thinking of. And Harry, when you're sure, you are going to say stop. That's the only thing you're allowed to say. And then say which point it is. So ready, set, go. And then depending on time, you can choose to do some more trials. You can talk about sample sizes, whether just testing one student. A few pairs of students are enough, and have a good conversation about that kind of thing. Okay, so there was actually something else. So do we agree with this assertion or this hypothesis that was made in the Daily Unreliable? Well, I haven't actually told you all the information. In the Daily Unreliable, they also said something else. And that was that of all the people they tested, teachers were actually the best at describing things. So I need a volunteer. A seal? Okay, so I'm going to be explaining to a seal in the same way that Katie and Mohammed have just done. I'm going to explain to a seal which point I am thinking of, and I'm going to time myself. So, ready, set, go. The point that I'm thinking of is at on the x-axis, point 1, and on the y-axis, point 2. You got it, a seal? Great. So, turns out teachers are best. And this is a bit of an introduction to what we're looking at today, which is the Cartesian coordinate system. And the Cartesian coordinate system is just a fancy way of saying this space where we have an axis going one way horizontally and an axis going one way vertically. And we're going to look today at how we can use such a coordinate system to explain values, quantities, or, as we have just done, positions of points on a grid or in space. So our first activity today, to get us a bit used to it, is a kind of a spectrum exercise. So I want you to form pairs in a minute, and you're going to each pick a fruit. But before we do that, I just need hands up for people to tell me some of the qualities that a fruit might have. You know, redness, yellowness, etc. Students make suggestions, you bring out tasty. Okay, tasty. So let's have a look at tasty. I'll put it here as this x-axis title. So I want you to think about how tasty your fruit is and rate it on a scale from, this is positive 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, from positive 10 to negative 10. How tasty is it? Does anyone have any questions about what our task is? Okay, so you've got your pairs, and then obviously divide pairs up somehow that you think will be appropriate. Give each pair a fruit. So now you've got your fruit. To have a quick discussion, you've got 30 seconds to decide on this line how tasty your fruit is. Great. Go. Okay, now pineapple group. How tasty was your fruit? And you can drag the fruit around like this. Go through it. Okay, so now we need to think of something else. We've looked at this spectrum and we've looked at this, what we will call this tasty axis, or more generally, the x-axis. And we've had a look at how tasty things are. But what we need to do now is look at something else. So what's another quality that a fruit might have? In fact, I'm going to choose one. I want to know how easy you guys think your fruit is. So, you can interpret easy as you want, and we can have a little bit of a discussion about this. But I'll give you a minute this time, because easy is a bit harder than tasty to decide, to rate your fruit. So here, have a minute, talk about how easy your fruit is. And then you can go through the class. And you can introduce this new axis, and you can say, so we've got this new axis, which is easy. And I want you guys to rate your fruit how easy it is. So pineapple's this easy. And go through the whole class. Now, the final task for you is as follows. I want you to describe how tasty and easy your fruit is. How tasty and easy your fruit is in the smallest number of characters, or the smallest number of words. A letter is a character that you can. So a number or a word or a letter is a character. So I'll give you 2 minutes to do this. And from there, this is just a way to show students that using coordinate systems, so I could say, well, the way that I could describe the pineapple here, if we're sure where this is, could be -5, 6, and you can challenge students to be more efficient than that. It's an introduction to coordinate systems, to our way of naming coordinates, and an expression of why we might do this and how it's an efficient approach.